Good day, everybody. How y'all doing out there in YouTube and Facebook land? This is Tony from 6-String Corner. And let me change that microphone a little bit so y'all can hear me a little bit better. And how you doing? We're going to cover some new songs today. No, not new songs. They're old songs, but new for you because I haven't taught these yet. We're going to go over one, hopefully get to 2 Eagles songs. I'm on a time limit here. But hopefully we'll get a couple of songs in here that are easy for you to play. Well, at least I hope they're easy. These are Eagles tunes that, for the most part, cover, at least Lyin Eyes does, your standard chords that if you're a beginner, you probably have at least tried to learn or at least attempted to learn or have gotten so far into it. So I'm going to show you a quick way on a simple strum to this song. There's nothing complicated on the strums. It's pretty much, for 98% of it, with probably one little exception there, the same strum through the entire song for Lyin Eyes, and it's just how you move the chords around. And it's a really nice little ditty, especially if anybody who knows Eagles songs, who knows from the 70s. I remember this song was really big. I remember being a kid listening to this on WLSAM in Chicago, and they are one of my favorite bands and one of the most ingenious bands out there. They were, Glenn Frey has since passed on, but just fantastic song, fantastic harmonies, just all around, and the guitar work. I've got a number of videos on YouTube where I've gone over some of their tunes already on that. Yeah, Dan, it is fairly easy. One of my students who I am teaching, who has inspired me to do these 2 songs. So Dan, thank you very much. I knew you'd be joining in. Yes, I do get inspired by my students, by the way. And I do teach guitar. And while we're on that subject, I do have online lessons. I have a few slots that are available to anybody in the world who's watching. I got a special deal on that. So in the description or in the, on Facebook, it's probably description too. I guess it's description. So you'll see that at the bottom. I have 2 things in there. I have a PDF that is for techniques on how to change chords. So when you're strumming songs like this, and I'm going to go over a couple of them in Lyin Eyes, that you can use to help get those fingers to move from one chord to the next right on the beat. Okay. But I also, if you look on the next line item right below there, I have a link to information on online lessons that I'm having, some specials that I have going on right now. It's the contactless best way to teach. It's been very popular I think for obvious reasons late in this year, 2020 being what it is, and teaching online. It's the safe way of doing it. And I'll be honest with you, I've been getting, hopefully some of my students will agree out there that I'm maybe watching, pretty good success with it. I mean, it's been going good. It's, I know there's always pros and cons to things, but we've got to work with what we got. We got to work with the situation that we're in. And this is the best way and the most safe way to do that for both myself and for you. I know that I've had some students affected in one way or another, either having it or having to quarantine or what have you through this time. So, you can understand why we would all kind of want to need to be separate. So anyway, online lessons are available. Acoustic, I am on acoustic today, but I also have electric guitar. So, you want to learn lead, you want to learn hard rock, you want to learn blues, you want to learn Eagles tunes, you want to learn Rush songs. I am in a Rush tribute band. Whatever, you name it. I've taught people country songs. I've taught, we've gone through, and I'm not really a big country listener, even though this Lyin Eyes is kind of country-ish, but I'm not really a big country listener, but I've learned to, I learned from you guys, and I learned from my students that some stuff's really good out there. And so I will show them those songs. So anyway, I wanted to just touch base on that since one of my students had inspired me, because you guys come up with tunes and I'm like, hey, this would be great to teach a lot of people. I'd love to do a live lesson on this and just kind of throw it out there for y'all and hopefully it'll help you out, help you play a song or two, right? So I know I advertised New Kid in Town as well. I will hopefully get to that. I'm going to get through Lyin Eyes. If I don't get to New Kid in Town, that will be the next one, okay? That one's going to involve a little more the bar chords. You're going to have to learn that, so that might require another one. So, but let's get into Lyin Eyes. I like this one. It's a great song to just sit and strum. And if you know some people who know the music, they're going to sing to it, right? It's just one of those songs they're going to sing to it because they, if they're my age, they remember it as a kid, at least some of the words. Even if not, it's still fun to play. It's just fun to strum. It's like, hey, I know that. I've heard that song before. So anyway, we're going to cover Lyin Eyes. All right. So let's get into this right now. Thank you for showing up, those of you who are live. And I also want to welcome those of you who are watching this live lesson, which is live to me right now. But if you're watching this, after this, thank you. Welcome. Thanks for coming on in. As always, I always encourage comments that can be done here live. I do see all the comments from Facebook and YouTube. It shows up right here on my big old screen here. So if there's any questions or anything you want to learn or you want to know an answer to, or if there's something that you still need to learn, by all means, please ask away, post a comment. And if you're watching this afterwards, I do check these things. I do check on my YouTube channel. So if you got a question, something you want to know, something more you want to learn, just do it. Just leave it less. Just leave it there. I've had some people already ask some stuff, and it actually has been put on my list as far as live lessons to do for the future. These are just some folks on YouTube. So so I am going to get to those. Those are on the list. So thank you for all of that, because I'm just not whipping these up. I want to give you guys stuff that you want to learn, that you want to hear. So I'm really open to hearing your stuff. So anyway, enough of my blabbing. Let's get into Lyin Eyes. First, let's talk about the strum. The strum, you could just make this a really simple strum and you will be fine. So I'm not going to get into detail on this because there doesn't need to be any detail. It's a fairly simple strum. That's the beauty of a song like this. So, I'll start with G because the G is the first chord that's in the song. So down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Down. So that is the gist of the rhythm. And if you just did that rhythm on your right hand with all these chords that are going to fly around here, with one exception, two exceptions, two small exceptions, you're going to be fine, because that's pretty much it. It's that rhythm. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And you're just repeating that rhythm. Down, down, up, down, up. But down, up, down, up. Yeah, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. That just repeats over and over and over, except for two minor breaks that are in that song, and we'll get to those in a minute. But that is it. That's your right hand. That's what you are doing. You are strumming. That's you're moving through the chords. that's the verse. All right, so let's talk about the chords that are in this verse. So you're going to follow that strum. Now, here's a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to, and I'm going to address them as we move along, but I'm going to give you the early warning on this one too, is when we're just sitting there strumming on acoustic guitar, I like to mute strings that aren't being used. And most notably is this low E string, which can really make some chords that just use the higher strings sound ugly if you hit that string, okay? Like if I'm hitting the A minor, that's not what's in the song, right? It's in technically that E is in the chord, but it sounds kind of ugly. So we want to always be muting it when we play songs like the C. And you'll see is I'm bringing my thumb up. Now, I know a lot of players and there's a lot of pros that do use their thumb to press down the notes. Personally, I'm not a big believer in that for many reasons, but that is an option that some people like to use. But I do like to use it for muting. And when I mute is I'm literally bringing my thumb, okay, around that neck, and I'm touching the side of it. So when I'm playing chords like a C, which doesn't use that string normally, A minor, which is it doesn't use that normally, the D7 and D, which I'm gonna go over all these chords in a second, so hang tight. But all these chords that don't involve this low E string, I like to mute that out. It just helps so that you don't have to really be, oh, I hope I get it right? So if you noticed, I mean, I'll be honest with you, for the most part, I'm getting it right. I know I am, but I've been playing for a long time. But there's times you may not be able to, you may miss it. So even I'm doing it. Even after all these years of playing, I'm muting strings that I don't need to use, especially this low E. That's what you especially want to watch for. So anytime you're strumming songs like is relatively simple, and I know I use the word simple, but it may be difficult to you, but I'm saying relatively simple songs like this, muting these strings are really, really important in my book so that just the chord sounds clean. Right? For some of you who are early on in your playing, just getting the doggone chord to sound right is enough. Why should we have a strum and then, we're hitting these strings that we don't want to have heard. So this is a little technique that you'll see me using like when I'm playing my C's and my A's and all these chords that are not using that low E string. That's what I'm doing. I have it there. And even when I play like the G, where I am playing that low E string, if you notice my thumb is still here. It's just, I mean, I could do this because it wouldn't matter because the string is in front of it, but I can just, leave it up. But it's just, and I'm just keeping the thumb like this, pressing it down when I need to mute it and then lifting it up when I don't. All right. And that's just basically how I do that. So that is one definite thing to keep in mind when you're strumming songs like this. The other thing, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit here, is a couple of different techniques, and you're going to catch this in my chronic chord condition. It's my freebie down there. It's that PDF. If you click the link down below, you'll get this one, and I'll go over in there. I go over these more in detail. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this a little bit, but if you need more, just click the link, and it'll have some more information on how to work through this thing. So the first chord is a G. Now I like playing the G like this. There's different ways of playing a G, right? We've seen this. I think G is probably one of the most versatile chords. I've seen this. There's different ways I'm playing a G. So which one do you use? Well, sometimes it doesn't matter. That's the first answer. Other times it does matter. In this song, it does matter. And here's why. Because of the next chord, all right? When we're trying to decide how we want to play somebody's like a versatile G or an E minor, which could be played various different ways, we want to know the chord we're coming from, the chord we're going to. If we know what those chords are, it'll determine how we're going to play the one that we're figuring out, right? So this G is the one I want to play. And the reason I want to play this one is because the next one is a G major 7. Now, without going into reasons what a G major 7 is, G major 7 is simply this, but we're going to put this note instead of this note, okay? We're actually essentially adding this, what's called an F sharp. So we're going to do this, and for me, it's easier to play it like that, okay? So these two fingers, in essence, have to be right here when I'm doing this. So I was doing this, and I twist it around, and I come back, just like that. Okay, that's how I want to play it. So that's why I put these two fingers here. Now, if I want these two fingers here, the G chord I got to play is this one. That's the one that works. Now you could play it like this, and you could somehow get the, see what I'm saying? Like if you did it this way, you can maybe slide up. Man, that gets really twisty finger. This is a lot easier to play the G major 7. So that's why I'm playing it this way. So always pay attention to how you want to play the chord. You may automatically want to play it a certain way. You may want to automatically, because this is the easy way I play it. This is the way I like to play it here. And that may be true, and that's fine. But sometimes there's certain chords you have to switch around. You have to play so that you get to the next one quick, because you want to get... You want to get to that seamlessly from one to the next, to the next, to the next. So what we're doing here is we're holding these two fingers and we're literally gluing, which is actually a technique where when you go from one chord to the other, where you just hold them in place because they're common to the both chords, right? This was pretty easy, G to G major 7. So we're keeping those two fingers right there, okay? So we glue them. We don't have to, change them and move them around. We want to just go seamlessly from one chord to the next. So, all right. So let's go over the chords. I'm not going to do the strums. Let me just show you. We're going to go through the chords, at least on the verse here. And then you do this G major 7. All right. And then you want to go to the C. All right. Just a regular old C chord. Hopefully most of you know the C chord. And the way I transition to that from here, it is still kind of twisty. I admit it's not the easiest thing. You're going to have to move your hand around a little bit. But I keep these middle fingers in the same pattern, where this one's above this one on the lower string and on this 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Because guess what? You can go down here to the C, and they look exactly the same. So we go from G, G7, and then I just bring them down here to start that C. And then when we do that, at the same time we go to play that C chord. See how I did that? So we're keeping these in the same place. We're not doing, oh wait, now how do you play that C? And we can take our hand completely off or our fingers away. You want to keep them, just as you're changing from one chord to the other, just a little bit above those strings, so you can get to it on the beat. Because you got to arrive on the beat. You can't tell the band wait. You got to get to it right on the beat. Okay, so that's what you want to do when you're transitioning from, say, here to C. All right. And that's how you play that chord. Now, the next one is an A minor. And now, interestingly enough, we go from a C, and here's an A minor. Now, I'm going to make that switch. And can you see the similarities between the two? The pointer and the middle finger are the same. They're common notes to both. So what we want to do is we want to keep those fingers right there as we just move our ring finger to form that A minor. So C, A minor. So you can see how we're developing how this is all played, right? Now we're going to do one more chord after this, and it's called a D7. All right. Now a D7, it's not a D chord, it's a D7, is played like this, right? Here's your D7, in case you haven't seen it before. I'll show you this, just like that. All right. There's your D7. Now, also, when I'm talking about the chord transition, guess what? This pointer finger is common to both. So guess what we're going to do? All right, we're going to keep that pointer finger right there as we go to the D7, and then move just these other two fingers. And then as the fingers move, they hover, above the strings. You don't want them way out here and then transition. You want to try and get them as close as you can to those strings, so you can get to you want to get on the beat, right? That's the whole idea, is working this on the beat. Now, if you're working this song for the first time and some of this stuff is new and rough, right, you're going to start playing the song slow. Like I just played a cover. That was a cover tune. That wasn't the Eagles version, because honestly, YouTube would shut me down if I played the Eagles song. So that was just a cover band. I actually like the band. They're called Lexington Lab Band. I think they did a great job of that song, by the way. But I would slow that song down. If I was going to learn from their track or from the Eagles track, I would go slow the song down on YouTube like 75% and just try to get those chords right. All right. Always start slow and work your way up. All right. So that's what we want to do here. So there's a G, there's a G7, and then from the G7, keep these fingers the same. We go to a C. All right. If you see my finger too, point finger just sort of slid over the top of the strings there as I moved to the 2nd string. Form that C. Now I keep these two right here, these pointer and middle finger there, as I go to the A minor. and keep the pointer there as I go to this D7. All right, then I'm going to have to go back to the G. Well, the G, you kind of got to move all the fingers. Sometimes it's going to happen. You just can't use the technique. But I'm still going to keep things hovering above. And my little finger is actually kind of sitting above here, above that G string. Even though I'm not using it for the D7, it's right here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put that finger right there as I slip over to the G. All right. I wish it was there's really no actual technique, but this sort of it serves as like a pilot finger. It sort of guides me. It just sort of says, all right, I'm going to hold right here and bring these fingers up, and then you start again. All right. So if you're learning this and you want to get the chords down, you get the strum, the chords, work on them separately, right? So, right. And what you can do is just take one chord like I did in the beginning of this lesson and get that strum down. When you're strumming, by the way, this is a quick note, 2-second commercial, 2-minute commercial. When you're strumming, okay, arm leads the wrist. All right. Wrist leads the arm. I said this backwards. Oh man, my students are going to kill me. All right, wrist leads the arm. When you move that wrist down, the arm will follow. Wrist comes up, when we're up strumming, arm will follow. All right, no stiff arm, no stiff wrist. All right, and no just the wrist. They work in conjunction. They work together. Also, the way the pick is, don't pick like this with the tips straight down over that string. That's not good. You want to sort of twist it like this, so that the side of this pick, the side of the pick, is going over, and it's actually going to be sort of twisted a little bit. So really, you're scraping the edge of that pick over the strings. You can see that. All right, and then when you go up, you just kind of twist your wrist and go up. All right, so that's a quick 2-minute commercial there, because that will enable your strum, your chords to sound a lot more fluid, and they'll sound a lot less harsh. Also, if you're just strumming, the thinner pick will do. I wouldn't use heavy picks. I use a what am I using here? 0.6 Dunlap millimeter, but use a light pick if you can. I could probably even use a lighter pick than this one, just to get the strum, because it's less resistance on those strings, and it just makes the strum sound a whole lot better. So anyway, so this is the bulk of the song on the verse, and the verse goes like, there's like 3 times it goes through. And that's the bulk of how it works. Now, at the second part, it goes, late at night, big old house goes, I'm reading the words right. I guess every form of refuse has its price. Don't ask me to sing. I'm not going to sing. And it breaks your heart to think your love is only given to a man with hands. Back to the C now. All right? We switched it. We didn't go A minor, D7. We went A minor to C. It's cold as ice. And then there's a C, D. All right, so they end each of those sections of the verse a little bit different. The first time, it's just simply G, what I just showed you, right? There's A minor, D7, right? Now we're going to repeat that. G major 7 to C. All right, go back to A minor, and something's going to change. Now to C, no D7, back to G. Just strum that G, and then you go to the second part. Second part ends with given to a man with hands as cold as ice. That's one of the changes in the strum. Not really a big deal. You're just doing just C, D, G, and then you're going back to the third part of that verse. Okay. And then you go to that third part of the verse, and it does a little bit different. But he knows where she's going, and she's leaving. She's heading for she's town. And let that G ring out. So C, G, and let that ring out. Now we're going to get into the chorus. All right. So now the chorus is "You Can't Hide Your Lyin Eyes," and here's how that goes. We're using a lot of some similar chords. There's going to be a couple of new ones in here in a minute, and there is going to be a bar chord, by the way. Yay. So what we're going to do here is play the G. You can't hide same. There's this little dun dun. Don't forget to catch that. You can't hide your lying eyes. C, D. All right. So there's that dun dun. That's where the strum breaks up a little bit. So you can't hide. In your smile. E minor now. Now we're gonna play the E minor here. Now here's another. So we're going to pause it right here. The reason I'm playing the E minor this way and not this way is because of the next chord. The next chord is this B minor, and I can keep this pointer finger right there and come around and play a B minor. Just keep it right there, twist around, B minor, okay? Because that's the next chord. And your smile, so actually smile, smile's a thin disguise, and then A minor to D, all right? So that strum goes in there. So you can't hide. Okay, now, thought by now is a G. Here's a nifty little chord, F over G, okay? All right, so how do we play an F over G? All right, so sometimes, now F over G, what does that look like? It's actually, you'll see chords written with like the chord, like say F, and then a slash, and then you'll see another letter, right? So F over with a slash over G means F over G. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you're playing the F chord, but you're playing a G bass note to it. So you're inverting the chord, right? There's a thing called inversions. Piano players do this well. This is how we do it on guitar. Now, sometimes in bands and sometimes in music, the bass player is playing that note behind the slash, and the guitar player isn't. If you in this song, I don't even know. I think the guitar player does do it. It would make sense if they did. They may not. The bass player might be covering it, but I don't think they do. I think the guitar is actually playing it. You should play it anyway. If it's just you want to play it anyway. So how do we play this F over G? So here's you can't hide. By now you'd realize. So now here this is the F chord. Remember this? You guys have probably learned this dreaded F chord, right? But we use these fingers. But when we play a G over F, we're actually, the pointer finger stays there, but we're switching out these fingers to the middle finger and the little finger now are playing that F, and the pointer finger covers the G. The ring finger covers the G right here. And the ring finger is kind of being lazy and sitting right over that A note, because we don't want to hear, remember I talked about muting strings? We don't want to hear that A note. So we could, well, I guess technically we could. It is in the song. I prefer not to because I really want that G that low bass note to hang out to be clear. So when I'm playing the G, the ring finger is common to that and the F over G. See what I did there? So I keep that ring finger there, switch over. All right, and that's the F over G, or I'm sorry, the G, yeah, F over G. So I thought by now you realize, which is a C, and then we're gonna go to an A7. What's the A7 right here? Well, we go from a C, and we're gonna play this A7. We can keep that middle finger right there. Just move our ring finger. All right, notice I'm muting that low E, like I do on the other A's and C's and all those other 5-string chords. And I bring my ring finger over to play it this way. You can also bring a little finger. Some people prefer that. That's fine. It doesn't work. It doesn't matter. I prefer the ring finger this way. So there's a little, so that's how it goes. So this is the second part of it. So I thought by now you'd realize a 7, right? And then you go play the A minor, just keep that middle finger there still. Ain't no way to hide. So go from A minor to D. Now here we're gonna have to kind of move them because there's really no common anything there. Go to the D. Let's go A minor to D. All right, and then back to G, and then all right, and then it goes back and forth from then it goes to the next verse, next chorus. That is the bulk of the song. It kind of repeats verse and chorus. There is the the outro, where they just say, there ain't no way to hide your lying eyes. G major 7, A minor. This is the outro. And there's a little instrumental outro with the lead guitar there. And then back, and then ding, 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 and then that's how that ends up. Okay, so that in essence is how we do Lyin Eyes on the guitar playing, and that's a great Eagles tune to strum to. Unfortunately, I'm running a little late. I know you want it. If you want to learn New Kid in Town, I'm so sorry. I know I put New Kid in Town, and I am deathly afraid of going into that because we're going to be here forever, and I don't have that time because I gotta bail out of here in a little bit. But so good news is I am going to cover it. So that will be the next lesson. I'm going to cover New Kid in Town. We will do that next lesson. All right. So I promise that will be on the docket for hopefully next week. I don't think I'll be on here on Wednesday. Might be here Tuesday. Tuesday or Thursday. I'll send a note out to all those of you on the email list. You'll see the notices on YouTube and Facebook, but we'll be on, and I will cover New Kid in Town next week. It's a little bit more involved. That song definitely is involved. So it's got a lot of that in there. There's going to be bar chords and there's key changes as well. So that's a whole lesson into itself. So my bad about putting both of these on there. I should have known I can't cover both of them all in one brief live lesson. But hopefully this is a good start for you. This is, like I said, it's a relatively easy, relatively simple. I know simple is different for all of you out there, but it's achievable even if you're sort of in the beginner into the intermediate range. Is that the chords for the most part are fairly easy to play. They're kind of the standard G, A minor, C. There's a couple, like I said, the G major 7, and there's the B minor bar chord that you got to play. But outside of that, it's really got a lot of very basic, what we call cowboy chords, right? That's just the standard chords that we probably learned when we started guitar. And then the strum, like I said, with the exception of those couple of those little staccato things, it's pretty much same rhythm on the strum. I pretty much just covered that song. All right. So hopefully that'll work out for you. I think I will have tabs. I have a tab library, but I don't have the link here. So I'm going to put that link in here. So if you're watching this later on, it should hopefully be there. If it's not, please put a comment and tell me you put it in there. Put it in there. Yes, you should live up to your agreements here. I've already broken one, and I said I'm going to do 2 songs, and I only did 1. But we will get to New Kid in Town. I am going to do that one next. I think that's actually a really good, cool song to play on the acoustic guitar. It's got some great stuff in it. Really, it is. And there are rhythm changes, and there's a key change. So there's a lot happening in that one. So again, I like teaching by song, and there's a lot you can learn by just learning songs, right? And so you're going to learn key changes in that one, changing the strums up a little bit, trying to work with your bar chords. So there's going to be some bar chord stuff, especially in the early part of that song, that you're going to need to get to know. And we'll get into that on the next lesson. All right. So stay tuned for that. I'll get New Kid in Town next time. I've also got some other rock stuff coming up, lead guitar. I got a list here. There's a big list of things I want to cover, a lot of classic rock, some new rock. So thanks to you all for providing me the suggestions. Thanks for my students who tell me, hey, I want to learn this song. And then I get the idea from them that, hey, I'm going to do this. So thank you, students. Thank you, Dan, for this one. And I do appreciate that. And I will catch you guys on the next one. So hopefully you learned something new. Again, online lessons. If you need more, if you need to get something figured out on a guitar, and there's nothing like a face-to-face instruction. In the link below, I have a link for online lessons. That is there. Click that. It'll show you the information and the deal and whatnot. And you can actually just book it right there. It'll have a calendar and it'll find some times that are available for the first lesson that you would have with me. First one's always free. So we get to know each other, see if this is going to work for you, see if it's going to work for me. And then we can go on from there. All right. So I'd love to have you guys play an Eddie Van Halen song. Yeah, I didn't get that. That's that kind of just still gets to me. So forgive me for not getting into Eddie right now. I just didn't want to go there today. So hopefully you guys can understand that. But I'll get to an Eddie song at some point, but just not today. Sorry about that. This was already planned before Eddie died. So anyway, I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and we'll do some more of this, and then I got some rock stuff later. Oh, yeah, so online lessons, and also the PDF down there for the chord changes, all the different chord techniques. There's a PDF that gets more in detail. There's more that I didn't even show you that are there, so that'll help you do your strumming as well. So it's okay, JR, no problem. Don't worry about it. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, Eddie, let's just say this about Eddie, and I've put this. Those of you who are on my Facebook feed there know this, is that I'll just say this much about it before I go, is that Eddie Van Halen, to my generation, okay, I grew up, I'm like early Generation X, late boomer, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. I think early Generation X, is that he was my generation's Jimi Hendrix. All right, he changed the way guitarists play the guitar. I mean, it's like all these guys. It wasn't new. Like the tapping stuff, that was done way before that, and all those different things were done. But just that style, it set the tone for the '80s for sure, and into the '90s, and set the tone for all these guitar virtuosos that came around. Like my favorite, Joe Satriani, is one of my favorite players ever. Steve Vai, all these guys, hair bands, and it just sort of revolutionized how to play rock lead guitar. Before that, it was primarily blues, which is great, blues style guitar. The Jimmy Pages, Eric Claptons of the world. It was great stuff. No problem with that one. But he just changed how it played. Just kind of like what Jimmy did in the late '60s. Everybody was like, I don't remember this, but from that generation, JR, you could probably speak to that. Is that who's this guy? It was just so different, right? It was just so different stuff. And Eddie did that too. So, I didn't learn a lot of Eddie Van Halen his songs. I just didn't. I just didn't. It had nothing good or bad to say. I just didn't do it. But I always recognized, though, that he had the impact was just phenomenal. As you can look back over the years, and the impact that he had on players, even to this day, is really phenomenal. It was really quite something. Really was. I remember when Eruption came on the scene. Man, what was that? That was like, what? What is this? So it just blew me out of the water. So, Eddie may be gone, but his music's going to live on for a long time. His guitar is going to live, his playing is going to live on for a long time. And generations from now, they'll still look back, that guitar, that instrument, assuming there's still a guitar, and in the distant future, they're going to know who, he'll be among the greats that are going to rank there. They're going to remember, and they're going to talk about. So anyway, that's enough of that. I just want to say a little bit of jive about that, a little bit of words about that. And now I got to go. So New Kid in Town will be next time. So hopefully you learned something. Leave a comment below if there's anything else you guys want to know in the future. If you're obviously watching this after the live lesson, love to hear from you. Love to hear suggestions. And don't forget live lessons. You can book the lesson online, and then just book the time, and I will. The first one's free, so you got nothing to lose, right? So let's just see if we can do something to help you out and playing. All right. Anyway, I got to roll. Thank you so much for joining in, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Look for it. All right. Peace. Rock on. See you later.